Okay, hey everybody, this is Sean from One with Nature. Back after a long absence from YouTube. It's been a year, well over a year since I put up my last video. Well, it's been a busy year. If you go over to our website at onewithnature.com, you will see some new items that have been put together and formulated for you guys over the past year or so. By the way, I want to thank all of my subscribers and all of the kind words and emails that have poured in from all over the place. The US, England, Australia, got a few from Belgium, all over the world. It's very much appreciated. Okay, so let's talk about what brought me out of my YouTube retirement. We're going to discuss one of the most important herbs for the skeletal system in the entire herbal catalog of Western herbalism, or for that matter, any system of herbalism in all the world, and that herb is called Solomon seal root. This is what the part above the ground looks like. You'll see true Solomon seal on the left, false Solomon seal on the right. Please note the placement of the flowers. And this is what the part below the ground looks like. This is the actual true Solomon seal root itself. The false Solomon seal root does not have the flat disc-like areas that you see here on the true Solomon seal root. Why is Solomon seal root important? Flexibility and freedom of movement are dependent in large part upon the strength and integrity of our bones and joint surfaces, along with the suppleness of our ligaments and tendons. As we age, the stresses of a lifetime of work and other physically demanding activities will begin to reduce the range of movement that we once had. If we begin looking for ways to bring back the structural vitality of yesteryear, then a few key issues need to be addressed. Number one, proper lubrication of the joint surfaces. Number two, nourishment of ligaments and tendons so that they may return to a supple, flexible state. Number three, easily assimilated minerals known to aid in the strengthening of bone and tissue. And number four, herbs that can drive new fluids into old, stagnated tissue so that the cells can fully power up and begin the healing process. If you sat someone down and gave them a list of all the things that Solomon seal root can do for the skeletal system, the ligaments, the tendons, and the muscles, they would probably give you a look similar to this. But the truth is, the more people that use this once obscure herb, the more benefits that it can give us are being discovered. Solomon seal will assist in helping you regain desired freedom of movement by bringing new life into muscles, bones, ligaments, and tendons. Solomon seal belongs to a class of herbs that are nutritive, moistening, and healing. The official term for such an herb is mucilage. Other herbs in this category are comfrey, slippery elm bark, Irish moss, and marshmallow root. These leaves, barks, and roots will open up hard, atrophied, stagnated tissues and drive water into them. When you bring water into tissues, you are bringing a feeding and a healing action along with it. Since you are bringing in good fluids and driving out the stagnated fluids filled with cellular wastes and other junk that you do not want your cells bathing in on a daily basis. This stagnated fluid is picked up by our old friend, the lymphatic system. From our previous videos, you will remember this diagram. And the waste fluid is cleansed and filtered, then largely rerouted back into your bloodstream. If there happens to be a desirable salt in the water that is being driven into these tissues, like for instance a high-quality sea salt, then the positive effects will be accelerated due to salt's inherent ability to make water active in the tissues. If you do not have any sea salt, you can always fight your way through one of these dark chocolate bars to get to the precious sea salt within. If you're going to supplement with an herb like Solomon seal, be sure to drink ample amounts of pure water daily to help this process along. These herbs will drive fluids into tissues, but only if they have ample fluids to work with in the first place. Solomon seal also appears to teach the ligaments and the tendons of the body just how far they should be able to stretch and then what length they should return to. And it's all custom tailored to your personal requirements. In case you are confused as to what the difference between a ligament and a tendon is, ligaments attach bone to bone, tendons attach muscle to bone, and muscle to muscle. By creating an environment where the tendons and ligaments are more supple, more nourished, less prone to injury, and the joints are more lubricated and strengthened, your coordination and speed will actually increase. Just think how much faster this guy would have been had he used Solomon Seal. He didn't need it though. He was pretty fast. Solomon Seal has the unique and proven ability to increase the lubricating fluid found in the joints of the body, which we know as the synovial fluid, enabling joints that were at one time rigid and inflexible to have a newfound range of movement. The major joints of the body, such as the knees, hips, shoulders, elbows, and fingers, are layered with cartilage, and the slippery synovial fluid provides a much-needed lubrication for these stressed areas, as the synovial fluid will prevent or delay the cartilage from wearing away quickly. If you have ever noticed a clicking or popping sensation when moving your joints through their range of motion, then Solomon Seal could be ideal for you. The increased production of the synovial fluid also makes the top layer of cartilage just a bit softer and more slippery, which in turn provides an ease of movement and a reduction in pain. Solomon Seal will provide for remarkable gains in healing when joints need strengthened or even repaired. It will ease the discomfort or even eliminate common joint issues, such as the most common, which is painful and swollen joints. I have seen Solomon Seal provide rapid and lasting relief to joints that were stressed from day in and day out repetitive motions that tend to wear out or strain the joints, ligaments, and tendons. In the 1600s, Solomon Seal root was stamped and smashed, then dunked into a pitcher of ale, allowed to soak for a bit, strained out, and then it was drunk. This not only took away the short-term pain of broken bones and fingers that were out of joint, depending, I suppose, on how much ale one chose to imbibe at the time. For purely academic reasons, I was going to duplicate this old method of using Solomon Seal for my loyal YouTube subscribers, but I doubt the second half of this video would have ended up making any sense. So after employing this method, in the long term, the Solomon Seal would exert a powerful influence upon the broken bones, drawing them back together and providing a faster than normal healing that gave it quite a reputation. And this was hundreds of years ago. One component of Solomon Seal root which gives it legendary status in fast healing is allantoin. This is a chemical compound that could be found in the well-known comfrey plant as well. Allantoin provides a soothing, anti-inflammatory, and cell proliferation action on tissues, ligaments, and tendons, also bone. We heal from the top down and from the inside out. And while comfrey can be incredibly effective at rapid cellular proliferation, comfrey may cause unwanted complications from, ironically, healing damaged tissue too fast, essentially healing the outside of the wound before the inside of the wound. This will seal in infections, seal in pus, and foreign objects. However, the healing action of Solomon Seal, with its content of allantoin, does not pose this problem. It is a safe and sure approach. Remember, allantoin is just one part of Solomon Seal. We can also look at asparagine, alkaloids, flavonoids, polysaccharides, glycosides, steroidal saponins, and many others. When tendons are dry, brittle, and tight, they can rub up against the bone. The body responds to this unnatural pressure by forming a calcium-based callus to protect itself. As time goes on, more and more calcium is added to the callus, and before you know it, you have a good old-fashioned bone spur driving you crazy every time you move. Solomon Seal appears to eliminate this particular type of calcification process, because once the tendons are nourished, lubricated, and moistened, the tendon will no longer expose the bone to this type of unusual friction, and the Solomon seal will begin to perform a decalcifying action in that area. True Solomon seal can also recalcify bones that are in need of being built up and repaired. Solomon seal root can be used in many forms, from the time-tested poultice, a tea made of the chopped up roots, or a tincture used either internally or applied externally to problem areas. You can expect some results within 24 hours, but it's not unusual to have to stay on it for up to 3 months when needing bone fortification and repair. Now, if you have some clicking or popping in the joints that continues after a period of time on Solomon seal, you may want to look into the addition of pleurisy root or gravel root. These may really make a world of difference to you, as pleurisy root, also known as butterfly weed, has a well-known moistening and lubrication power on its own, and gravel root, otherwise known as Joe Pye weed, was an herb that was known as a cure-all in the 1800s in America, but it can dissolve minerals that have accumulated on joint edges and surfaces. Now, for issues which are specific to the lower back, legs, and knees, you may want to look into eucomia bark, teasel root, osmunda fern, mullein leaf, and mullein root. Herbalists, old and new, are quite specific in their praise for Solomon's seal. Hundreds of years ago it was written that in the world is not to be found another herb comparable to it. Based on what I have seen and what Solomon's seal has done for me personally, I would have to agree. Okay, the preceding was my spiel on Solomon's seal. This is Sean from One with Nature. I want to thank everyone for listening, and remember to win in life, be one with nature.